welcome to another episode of Dope Chats with Stretch. I am Stretch, yours truly, your 6'6" phenomenon. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight on this Wednesday. I'm really excited about this conversation that I'm about to have with this brother right here because I think he has a very unique story, especially from where he started to where he's at now. Always love talking to brothers when it comes to the world, when it comes to the literary world. And this brother right here knows firsthand because he works at a very dope bookstore in New Hampshire. So with that being said, please show your love for Mr. Ben. Can I call you Ben or you want to be Benjamin?
Benjamin, preferably.
Okay. Benjamin Pasley, my man. Congratulations. How you doing, good sir? How you feel?
Amazing. How are you?
Hey, man, everything is good, man. I appreciate you taking time out to join me on this, man, because I know we've been going back and forth, a couple weeks, just like trying to really solidify a time and a day. So I'm glad that you're here, man, because man, I mean, you're a very interesting and unique dude, man, because I love watching, first and foremost, I love watching your TikToks. I think you really taken just the love of books and implemented them within TikTok. And I think it's encouraging, especially for like kids, man. It's encouraging the kids to really want to say, damn, I want to pick up a book. Well, I mean, the kids ain't saying damn, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
So tell me, man, how was that? Like, how did you really get into the start of implementing TikToks with the bookstore?
Well, it all started kind of when COVID happened. So right around when COVID really happened, everything got locked down. At the Bookery, we found ourselves with so much time on our hands. It was kind of scary because we cleaned every nook and cranny. We mopped, we swept, we dusted, we organized the books, and we really didn't have anything else to do. But my former employee at the time, she's amazing. She's a young black woman who wants to do so many things, so energetic, super positive. Her name is Eliza. Okay, Eliza. Shout out to Eliza. Yeah, Eliza Gravy. She's probably gonna kill me for butchering her last name, but she I think she was 18. She's 19 now, but she was 18 before, and I always would see her dancing or just moving around behind the counter, making coffees and everything. Like she was just moving, doing dances, and I was like, "Why are you moving so much? What are you doing?" She was like, "It's TikTok." And at that time, it was relatively new, so I was like, "What is TikTok?" And she was like, "Let me show you." And it was like songs that I grew up listening to, but kids were just now listening to them, doing dances to them. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I watched her do it for a couple of days, and I was like, you know what? I think that'd be cool to just have fun. Let's just have some fun. We don't have nothing else to do. Let's just try it out. And then we made the very first one where it was like, baby girl, give me something, oh. And then we went to that one, and then it was a hit. People loved it. And then we just kept doing it because of how it resonated with the community. People loved it. At that time, it was giving people something to look forward to, something to smile about, something to be happy in such a dark time that we were all going through. Right. And then it kind of just evolved from there. We were like, okay, so how do we, instead of just doing dances, how do we make like skits or little short videos about a bookstore? And she helped me develop a lot of those things. She helped me create with all of that. She helped me learn how to stitch, edit, everything on TikTok, and it was really fun doing it, and it was really cool to see the responses for it. But it literally just came out of a kind of a need, a necessity to want to create and do something, and then we just made it work for our bookstore.
That's dope, man. It's funny because like I have a friend of mine, and I know she's on here now watching it. She keeps telling me, get on the TikTok, get on the TikTok. I'm like, man, it's so many things that I'm, and I just can't, I don't want to get, overwhelmed with like being on everything, but I figured, at a certain point in time, TikTok is definitely going to be the move.
Well, yeah, I find it like it's more than just, a lot of people, at least in the beginning, thought it was just, oh, that's a younger person thing. They're just doing dances on there. But actually you can learn a lot of stuff from TikTok. I've learned more on TikTok than I've learned in, I think, my whole 12 years of being in school.
Wow. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
The ticking and the talking, my man. So let's talk about like your journey. So as I was reading your bio, and it's interesting because you're originally from Alabama, correct?
Yes, sir.
So how do you go from Alabama to New Hampshire? How did that happen?
That's always the big question. But unfortunately, it came, the reason was for the move was because of a lot of death. I lost my mother, dad, grandma, and granddad all before the age of 20. And then my sister, she was in the Army, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, Army, Navy, and she got stationed here in New Hampshire where she met her husband, Tim, and she had my first nephew, her first son, Hayden. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, as long as you can get good grades and you finish out, you graduate, you can come up here, live with us, and you can help me take care of your nephew. And I was like, okay, bet. So literally the day after I graduated, I was up here.
Wow, that's dope, man. So how was it a big like was it a culture shock to you? Because I know for me when growing up in Baltimore, my freshman year in college, I went to the University of Maine at Fort Kent, very northern tip of Maine. Only I was one of 5 black people in that town. So it was definitely like, I'm like, wait a minute, man, what's going on around here? But tell me about your experience going from Alabama to New Hampshire.
So it wasn't as much as a culture shock as in from white to black or any other race, because where I was born in Alabama, the small town of Verbena, I was always around a lot of ethnicities, a lot of races. So that wasn't so much as a culture shock. But what shocked me the most is how rude people are up here. Like they're
Wow.
mad rude. In the South, it's more southern hospitality. Like when I'm asking
Right.
you how are you, I'm legit asking you how you are. I'm listening
Right.
intently and find out who you are. Up
Right.
here, it's just like a phrase you say to people. Oh, how are you? Good. Mm-hmm. All right. And then you
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah. It's just a filler. It's just a filler. You really don't care how they really feel. You just like,
not at
yeah.
all. Not at all. Uh, and then when I started working in Massachusetts, it was even worse. They were
Oh,
even worse than up here. If you looked at them wrong, they were like, "What? What's going on?" I'm like, "I was just about to say hi. Like, how are you doing?" You know what I mean? And that was the hugest shock of all, to know that people are so like just disgruntled for no reason
right,
all the time. But then I
man.
understood why the longer I started living here, because it's cold, it snows a
Mhm.
lot, you got to do a lot of shoveling, uh, and it's colder, but more cold than warm, so I can understand it. But it was weird trying to get used to.
Man, that's crazy. Don't get me started on Massachusetts. I have a love-hate relationship with them, man. But so you end up at the Bookery. So tell us about the bookstore. Like, where is it located? Like, who do you all cater to? How long have you been there? And more importantly, what drove you to wanting to work at a bookstore?
So that was it. That's a very interesting question. It's a very interesting story as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start with how I got to the bookstore. So I was working at a pizza place before this because I wanted to try my hand at being a manager,
Mm-hmm.
because being from the South, or just I think me as a person, I'm just more inclined to people. Like I love
Mm-hmm.
people. I love the interaction with people. I love helping in any way I can, and I understand it. Like what I mean, I can really empathize
Right.
through the day to day of being here on this earth.
Right.
Especially I think as a black man as well too. I think I can empathize even more of what we all go through here on
Mm-hmm.
earth. So anyway, I left a desk job to go to the pizza place,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned a lot to be a manager and everything like that. And I got broken down emotionally, physically. It went through a lot. Like if anyone ever wants to be a manager, I would say that's the first place to go, is to a pizza shop, because it'll show you what it's really about,
Right.
in all facets. So I did that, and then my wife, while I was working there, told me about this bookstore I was opening up here in Manchester. The bookstore is located on 844 Elm Street, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
Manchester, New Hampshire. But she was like, "Oh, there's this new bookstore I heard is really crazy." And mind you, I've never been to a bookstore in my life. When I was younger and through like high school and everything like that, yeah, they would take us to bookstores, libraries. But this is the first bookstore I've been to since I was an adult.
Right.
So I'm thinking it's like an old archaic library. It's old, dusty, old people walking around. But I go in here and it has like these huge tall mirrors that you see at like the Gucci store, like these huge retail high fashion stores.
Right.
Um, Super high ceilings, nice lights, everything's spaced out. They have a cafe in the back. And I'm like, this is a bookstore? Like, this is dope. And it's really cool. And it was interesting. Everybody in there was super nice. They were accommodating.
Mm-hmm.
And then we leave, and then I was like, oh, cool. Okay, cool. That was a cool experience. And then some things happened at the pizza place, and I'm like, okay, babe, I can't do this anymore. We got to start looking for another job. And then, of course, the Bookery pops up on Indeed as they're hiring. And the interesting part of the story is I never saw myself as a person who was literary, or who was intelligent, or could work at a bookstore, or could tell you about his favorite book and articulate it how I kind of am now. And I took a chance on it, and my wife took a chance on me to tell me, no, you can do that. You are capable of doing that. And it just came out of doing it for fun. Like, okay, we'll see. And I took a day off of work. I filled out the questions they asked to the best of my ability, and they called me back. And to speed up the story a little bit, they saw a picture on Facebook of when I visited there on their opening, and that is one of the reasons why they hired me.
Wow. See?
And then it's been history ever since. We've been there. So the Bookery's about to be 3 years old, I believe, in May 18th, I believe, and I've been there just a little over a year.
That's dope, man. And it's that's an awesome story to see, like how you just mentioned how you thought that you would never see yourself in that position, but you already put yourself in that position. You know what I mean? By already going there, and it's funny because I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day about how we have to have, you know, better affirmations and seeing ourselves in places. And a lot of times we may put ourselves in a position that we'll never see ourselves like doing or being in, but we've already put ourselves in alignment to be in that position. So, you know, that's dope, man.
And it kind of goes back to how you were saying in the very beginning when you mentioned TikToks, how you can see a little kid looking at a TikTok and be like, no, I want to pick up a book. And that's exactly what I started doing it for. And on my journey through the Bookery, I've been blessed to do a lot of other things too that I'm currently doing right now. I'm in Leadership Greater Manchester. It's a course where where leaders throughout your community get together and they teach you about your city, the history, the politics, the education, the criminal justice, everything. They teach you about every facet in your community. And in learning that, I've learned that representation and inclusion is huge. And I'm not sure if you saw the Black Santa we did for Christmas, but that was the first in New Hampshire. We believe it was the first in New Hampshire to ever have a Black Santa, which was huge. And to have a kid be able to look at a Santa and be like, I can see myself in that, or have a bookstore, a bookseller, or a general manager of a bookstore who has locks, who has the gold chains and necklaces and stuff like that, like, and see themselves like, I can do that, right? Or that means more than what I'm doing right now, like, you know what I mean? Just to be able to do that is what I do it for. And that's the dope thing about it, man. And because at the end of the day, if you're able to fill your soul with all of that, knowing that you're making a change to somebody, whether it be one person, 40 people, whomever, you're doing your job. So that's kudos to you, man, for definitely, one, stepping out of your comfort zone, two, seeing yourself being able to do something that you thought that you would not be able to do, and then three, all of it coming together in the sense that you're able now to enhance your career by, like you said, just going off and doing the other leadership tasks and skills that you're picking up along the way too, man. So, you know, much love to you on that. And it's been cool because, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was saying it's been cool because it also showed me that it's okay to be you. You know what I mean? Like, I may have never saw myself as that, but internally, once I got into that position, it's always who I've been. I've always been the nerd, the smarter guy, the one who kind of leads with intellect. It just took me a while to actually understand that's really who I am on the inside, and this is a reflection of just who I am. I was just afraid of it the whole time. And it's cool how that coincided with TikTok at the time, because that was me, again, finding something that I've always loved, but being afraid to do, which was create. Yeah. And in TikTok and in Instagram, and such as yourself, you're a creator, and that gives us life, or that gives us meaning, at least to me. And it opened that up even more. Like, now people are rocking with it. I can do something I like, and people like it too, and they can hold on to it. It means something to them. It's like good content. Like, that's amazing. The thing, and it's funny that you say that, man, because that's just how I look at it. Because as a creator, your job is to, you know, I mean, yeah, it'd be dope to get paid and all the other good stuff, but I don't look at it from that standpoint. I just want to be able to leave something that will outlive me. You know what I mean? Exactly. So whether it be when I'm on the radio, you can go back 20 years and find tapes and audio of me being on the radio. That's going to outlive me. My books are going to outlive me. So therefore, you know, I'll be, you know, dead and gone, but people will still be like, oh, Straps, yeah. I gotta do what's all right. You know what I'm saying? Because those things are going to live forever. Yeah, you're leaving your legacy behind. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I want to touch on, because we are in February, and of course it's Black History Month.
tell me, what are some of the books that you recommend for folks to, if they're coming into the store, and say for instance, it's a young Black boy, young Black girl, and they're just excited about reading anything for Black History Month. What would you recommend for them to get them started?
Well, like on the kid side, we have a lot of young kid books. So we have like the How to Be Anti-Racist for the Baby. I forgot what it's called. How to Be a Baby Anti-Racist. Like start them off like almost out of the womb in like a little board book. So that one's really cool. We have a lot of these books I haven't gotten to read because we've been super busy. But the Barack Obama book, A Promised Land, that was definitely a must read. How to Be Anti-Racist, of course, by Ibram X. Kendi. Those books flew off the shelf multiple times. Like we had like hundreds and hundreds come in, and they just kept flying off the shelves.
Wow.
White Fragility, of course. There's a new one that I just read not too long ago that I didn't know was an actual book. I knew it was I knew it as a graphic novel. Kindred by Octavia Butler. That's insane. That's insane. And the graphic novel was, I haven't read the book yet, but the graphic novel was so graphic. I had to like put it down because I was crying because how graphic it was and how like detailed they were telling it. Like for those who don't know about Kindred, it's a story of a Black woman who's married to a white man, and somehow something happens to where she's able to go back and forth through time, and she goes back in time to where slavery existed, and she keeps wondering where she is and how this is happening. But then when she's in real peril, she'll be fast forwarded through the future where she's okay and safe. So it kind of tells a story of how slavery affected Black people and white people, because her husband's white, and then he eventually can go back and forth through time and seeing how back in time white people were, well, I'm not saying were, but I'll say were, but I think they kind of still are, were in power. When I mean by in power, I mean they owned slaves. You know what I mean? So he got to see that, and it kind of changes him in a different way than what she expected, and she gets changed in a different way than what she expected. And some of the images are just so graphic and so emotion provoking. Like I'll never forget the one where slaves of course aren't supposed to be learning how to read or write, and she knows how to read and write because she comes from the future, of course. So she goes back in time and she's teaching the kids how to read and write, but the slaves are trying to tell her, you can't get caught doing this. This is huge. This is something we can't be doing. And if we get caught, we'd be killed. And she's like, no, I got you and everything like that. But one of the kids let it slip that he knows how to read, or he's learning how to read. And then one of the master, quote unquote master, comes out and grabs the girl main character and throws her to the ground and starts like going to town. And the way she describes the whip hitting her back and how I felt like an iron going over her back every single time, and then her throwing up and then bleeding at the same time, and then it becoming so hot that it was numb and she couldn't escape the pain, and she literally was face down in her own throw up and blood, thinking like, this is where I'm going to die. This is it. And then of course her husband at the time comes in and says that's enough and saves her. But like those images are just so graphic, and I'm more than 100% sure that's what happened to people who look like us back then. And so emotional, and the way just so descriptive too. I don't know, it makes you feel like you're there, right, at a point.
And that, I mean, that's a testament to a great writer, man, when they're able to put you from their words, and you're able to just like envision like, oh, I'm here, I can see this right here. That's dope. That's dope.
And then with it being a graphic novel, you don't gotta like really think about it. You can see it right in front of you, and it kind of puts you there immediately. And that's kind of how I was growing up. At least I didn't like necessarily reading a lot because I have ADHD, and it's boring to me to just look at a lot of words on a page. It takes me a long time to get to where the author's trying to get me to in my mind, because I'm just looking at words on a page. So for me, how I explain it is graphic novels are like my TV. I can see what's going on. I'm more interacted. I'm more engaged because it doesn't take long for me to develop that. I'm right in the story, right then and there. So it helps out a lot. And those are kind of like the books I like to read. But I've been doing a lot of other reading as well too.
That's dope. So speaking of books and movies, what are some of the books that you've read that you think would transcend or become good movies? Because most books, when they put the adaptation and they turn them into movies, not that great. But what are some of the ones that you would like to see turned into a movie?
That one, Kindred.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it's going to be turned into a movie. I think Jordan Peele is going to pick it up. Yeah.
You already know. You already know. You already know.
Yes, sir. So I already know about that one. That's going to be cool. There's not too many more that I want to see in a movie because, like you said, once you pick up the movie adaptation, it kind of loses a lot of what the book had to offer. But that one, only because Jordan Peele is picking it up and what he did to all these other movies. And I still got to go see Candyman. But all these other movies, Us and what's the one? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Where's in the sunken place?
Yeah. Get Out.
Get Out.
Yeah.
Get Out. Yes, sir. Yeah. So what he's done to those, I would love to see what kind of spin he puts on Kindred. All
right, bet, man. So tell once again, the Bookery is located where and the hours of operation.
So we are located in Manchester, New Hampshire on 844 Elm Street. We are open Tuesday through Saturday. Tuesday to Friday, we're open 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, we're open 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
All right, shout out to all the New Hampshire, that's still considered the New England area, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so all my New England folks up there, because I got some folks up in Maine and Boston and everything, make sure, when things get real kosher, slide on down and holler at my man and check out the books.
We're open to the public now. Of course, you have to wear your mask, of course.
Right.
But we're open to the public. We've taken out, because we do have a cafe in the back. We kind of closed, not closed, but taking out all the seating so people can't linger in there, which has been doing us really good. We haven't closed once since COVID has started. We've been open the whole entire time, which we're very lucky for. Our community definitely came out and showed us a whole bunch of love. Especially for Small Business Saturday and then the holidays. They really showed out. We did our biggest numbers in Small Business Saturday. I think I saw everyone in our community come to the store at least once, which was cool. It was the coolest thing ever. And then we have a website, our bookstore. Sorry about that. We have our online store going up soon.
Okay.
So you can check us out online. And then go check out our TikToks. I haven't been making them more recently because I haven't had time, but you can check out all of our TikToks at Bookery MHT1. And I think that's our TikTok name.
Okay, bet. Well, you already know, man. I'm making plans to come up there once everything is situated. And because I love to kick it with you all and hang out, maybe do a TikTok.
I'm down. You already know I'm down.
You already got something coming in the mail.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Yeah. Hey, man, before we get out of here, man, tell me, who's your favorite author of all times?
All time? It would have to be my favorite book of all time, which is Craig Thompson, Habibi. That's my favorite author right now, only because that book did, I think, a lot for me, because that was I would say my first graphic novel. And how that kind of happened is, so that's another weird story too, is because me not knowing that I could be a general manager or being a person who reads a lot of books, I became the general manager, and then my assistant manager, Jasmine, you talking about books, she knows every book. She's a huge J.R. Tolkien fan. She could spout huge, just recite books the back of her hand, verbatim. So one day I'm coming to her and she was like, "Oh, what books do you like to read?" And I'm like, I don't like reading, for real. And the look she gave me was disappointment, a mom looks at you when you severely disappointed her. And I was like, "Oh, don't look at me like that. What?" And she was like, "What? How are you a general manager of a bookstore? You don't like to read?" And then we went through a whole thing. But she was like, and I told her, like I was telling you, I don't like reading a lot of words on a page. I need something that is kind of fitting for me. And she was like, "I got you." So she asked me a couple questions. What do I like? What don't I like? And she pulled out Habibi. Super thick book. I'm like, "I'm never going to read this." And she was like, "Just try. Read in your spare time, and promise me you'll just at least try." And I was like, "Okay, I promise I'll try."
Right.
And the first 2 pages I read 100 and something pages within the first hour. And that was the reason that book holds so much value to me, is because that was when I saw that I'm again putting limitations on myself.
Right. There it is, man. See? Power, the power, brother, the power right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Never underestimate yourself, man. I can dig it, man. Well, thank you again, man. Mr. Benjamin Pasley.
My man.
You ain't got to worry about me messing your name up again, brother. I don't want no beef over here, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. But thanks again, man. Appreciate you, and enjoy the rest of your night, man. And of course, man, keep giving the love out to the kids, and keep popping also those TikToks, and keep that positive energy that you have going on up there in New Hampshire, man. Much love to you. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
My man. Be good.